All right, welcome into Action Movie Rewind, where we do deep dives into some of the most prominent action movies of all time here on Mackie and Judd every single week. And gentlemen, we have arrived to the early 2000s here. 2001 to be exact. The first of, I think, what are we up to, 10 in this franchise? Something like that? 11? I don't even know at this point. But The Fast and the Furious is our movie this week. Now, we've also, because we did do in the initial iteration of Action Movie Rewind before we did the reboot, we did review this a couple years ago. But I think these are probably the only two times I've seen the original since it came out. And I am not well versed in a lot of the sequels. So I think we should, like, every month or so, just like mix in a new Fast and the Furious movie as we go forward here. Because I'm curious to remember how this story plays out now as someone who hasn't kept really up to speed with the storyline.
Well, and Vin, he's not in all of them, right? Didn't
he's not in this. He's not in the second one. The second Fast,
Okay.
like, to be honest, we could skip the second one. Like, we won't, but we could skip it. He's not involved, and like the majority of the people in that movie are not involved in the second one. It's weird.
Why, so when did the actual story pick up then?
The third one. Then it's back with Vin and
I feel
and
we need
Mia
Vin.
and Lenny and all of them. Yeah.
We would take your guidance if you feel like it makes sense to skip the second one. Like if we don't
final.
need, like if we're doing all the Rocky movies, we don't really need Rocky 5.
That's true. The second one is horrible. It's kind of just bad, but so it could be funny to do, but it's not integral to the story, basically.
Okay. That's good to know. But this one is, because this is the root of the story here. And our Action Movie Rewind today is presented by our friends at Dennis Kirk. So if you like to, if you felt the adrenaline rush after watching The Fast and the Furious from 2001, maybe you want to hop on a Harley. Maybe you want to hop on some sort of a sport bike or a metric cruiser. Well, Dennis Kirk is here with over 160,000 parts and accessories in stock and free shipping on orders over $89. Same-day shipping on orders placed before 8 p.m. Ride more, wait less at DennisKirk.com. All right, here is the summary of this blockbuster classic. Dom Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, enjoys the adrenaline of streetcar racing, and his fans treat him like a rock star. After a blazing encounter with the ruthless Johnny Tran, Dom decides to take Brian, Paul Walker, a newcomer into street racing, under his wing. Dom's sister Mia sees something she likes in Brian as well. Trouble is, neither of them realize he's an undercover cop. And Dom and his rival Johnny Tran are both the prime suspects in a case involving dirty money and big rig hijacking. 54% on Rotten Tomatoes, $38 million turned into $207 million at the box office. And the critics' consensus from Rotten Tomatoes says, sleek and shiny on the surface, The Fast and the Furious recalls those cheesy teenage exploitation flicks of the 1950s. Oh, maybe you have to mix in some of those into Action Movie Rewind.
Oh, no.
Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster. I got some production notes for you guys here to sprinkle in, too, before we get to our statements. Did you know Eminem was offered the role initially, I think, as Brian, and turned it down to work on his own movie, 8 Mile, which was a good decision. And Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale were also considered for the role.
Christian Bale. I can see Marky Mark. I can't see Christian Bale doing it at all.
Marky Mark would have been a really interesting
Marky
one.
Mark would have been fine. It would have been hilarious.
He'd been good.
Fine. Yeah.
The role of Mia Toretto was originally auditioned for by Sarah Michelle Gellar, Jessica Biel, Kirsten Dunst, and Natalie Portman.
That is interesting. Wow, really? Okay, so let's go through that. Kirsten Dunst, no.
No way.
Natalie Portman might surprise you. I think she is a marvelous actress.
She could have done it. Yeah,
I think you're thinking of her in certain roles, but she has done. I mean, she's really good.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, no.
She's
That's
too
not
good,
the
though.
vibe of this movie.
Like, but Natalie's too good to be in The Fast and the Furious. Like, I can see Sarah Michelle Gellar, and I could even see Jessica Biel, too. I would actually put Jessica Biel as the favorite of the other three to play this role. But, like, Natalie...
You're right. You don't want an actress as good as Natalie Portman to make this movie.
She could dumb it down. She could dumb it down. She would have dumbed it down. She's not dumb. She's very, very smart.
Prior to filming, both Jordana Brewster and Michelle Rodriguez did not have driver's licenses, so they took driving lessons during production. It's interesting. And during the filming of the movie, 78 cars were wrecked both on screen and off screen. They destroyed 78 cars.
That's not surprising.
That's how you get to a $38 million budget. So,
yeah,
All right, we'll start with Judd here. We're going to give our statements in regards to The Fast and the Furious.
Okay, in watching this a second time, I find it interesting going back and watching films like this too, because it gives you a different perspective and you look a little bit deeper below the surface than you do the first time. And statement number 1 is this. Paul Walker is doing his best Keanu, and as far as I can tell, this film is Point Break with cars.
Yeah.
That was in my notes too. This is basically Point Break with cars.
That was my statement for Point Break.
I am an undercover police detective. I am an FBI agent. And like everything about it, right? Like how Walker's character gets sort of dragged into the life and then he sort of embraces it. This is the funniest thing I thought though was Paul Walker does his lines as if he's Keanu.
They're very alike.
Like sort of stiff, stiff at the time. Yeah. And
I almost had you, man.
And it's like there's a cue card.
Keanu.
But it's like there's a cue card off screen. Read this one now.
Dude, I almost had you. Like, it's such a Keanu line.
Yes. Yes, exactly right.
I'll take the tuna.
I'll take the tuna.
Yep. I earn my way every step. And he basically does a great job of just reciting lines, which is what I thought in Point Break at that time, what Keanu absolutely perfected was reciting his lines.
The other thing that Paul Walker and Keanu Reeves both do are just sort of, as they're reading their cue cards and just spewing their robotic lines, they show random bursts of emotion that sometimes don't make sense. It's like, whoa, oh, he's excited now. Oh, he's mad about something now. And it's not like an organic way to get to that emotion. I don't know what acting schools they went to, but it must have been the same one. Okay, I'm gonna rifle off this one right off the top here. I'm with Paul Walker. Tuna sandwiches are highly underrated. It's an underrated sandwich. In fact, I have for you guys an underrated sandwich pecking order here, or a Mount Rushmore, if you will, of the 4 most underrated sandwiches. Okay. So tuna. And personally, so I love and this is not a paid endorsement here, but Subway tuna sandwiches are still my go-to. You get the tuna scoops; they put like 3-4 scoops of tuna, spread it out.
Have you ever looked at the calorie count on that one?
Cheese on there.
Barf, dude.
I like them too, but I believe the calorie count on that one is really bad.
That's okay. I'm not eating them every day for every meal. I'm saying once in a while as a treat, as a nice treat.
Subway's got a lot of good offerings, Phil. I don't know the tuna's the best for you. That's all.
But you load it up with the veggies, so maybe a little bit of mayo, but mostly any sort of Dijon mustard, maybe a little oil, some salt and pepper. Yeah. Looks like Declan might throw up right now. Actually.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I'll get to my statement about this exact topic too. But tuna sandwiches, man, no way. And especially the tuna at Subway, that scoop. Oh, no chance, man. You couldn't pay me to do it.
It's a blast. Oh, it's so great. Yeah, I don't know if it's fresh, but it tastes fairly fresh. It's great. Okay, number 2, underrated sandwich, the chicken salad. Chicken salad with some chunks of grapes and maybe some little walnuts in there. And just a kind of a sweet tasting chicken salad. Number 3, egg salad sandwiches.
What is
no.
They take way too much criticism.
No, I'm out.
I love egg salad sandwiches.
Describe my 3 least favorite sandwiches on the planet right now.
And I'll tell you, people rip egg salad sandwiches at gas stations. I will if you put an egg salad sandwich inside of a 7-Eleven and the sell by date is valid, okay? I am in on a road trip.
Dude,
absolutely.
No, that's like your first 2 I'm fine with. That is a 3 is off the table.
Replace the bread with a croissant, an egg salad croissant sandwich, even better.
Croissants are great. Egg salad, I am so out.
You can even do the open face, if you just want to put the egg salad on one part of the croissant. And then number 4, chuck wagons. Gas station chuck wagons.
Okay, when I was in
just
my 20s,
mystery meat. I don't even know what's in them, but they're fantastic.
Dude,
great road trip sandwich.
That look on Declan's face is exactly.
Those are
right.
all
That's disgusting.
vile sandwiches.
The last two, you're out of line. You're out of line on those last two.
If before you even said that, if you were to ask me what are your 4 least favorite sandwiches, I'm confident those are all 4 of mine. Like I'm
okay.
confident.
The first
more egg salad
few-
for me. It's great.
The first few, egg salad is disgusting. No, and plus, if it's a second too old, it's even more disgusting.
Honorable mention: Spam sandwiches.
Oh, dude, no.
Spam sandwiches.
No,
That's actually the one I agree
stop.
with the most.
Calorie counts are a little high on those, but
Yeah.
it's okay. You don't want to eat
Okay,
that every
so
day.
the tuna salad, or the tuna at Subway, 310 calories, not bad, but calories from fat is what I was thinking of. 215 are just from fat. And the cholesterol is 13%. Saturated fat, 20%. Total fat, 37%.
This guy,
It's just not great for
guy
you.
goes on Livia for 10 months,
just not
loses some
great
weight.
for
Now
you.
he's
But I mean, you go to
Just
Subway, you get
cholesterol
something healthy.
percentage.
guy's a food
Get the
scientist
turkey.
now. Wow.
Get the turkey. Get
You
the
can't tell
turkey
you
with the...
You can't tell you Kirk Cousins' completion percentage, but he knows the percentage of fat in the tuna sandwich. That's
Oh, I got it right here. I just looked it up. I knew
God.
that it wasn't that great for
Yeah,
you.
it's sandwichreference.com. It's a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
statistical website. Yeah.
All right. I am about to contradict myself, though, completely, because my statement is this. I would order a tuna sandwich every single day if it meant I got to interact with Mia Toretto. Every single day, dude. Every damn day. I would punish down that tuna sandwich as hard as it would be if it meant I got to interact with Jordana Brewster or Mia Toretto. No problem, dude.
Okay, though, but here's the thing. This is what I wonder about this scene. So he's clearly going there because he has a crush on Mia, right? But then he's making her peel the crust off the sandwich.
Doesn't like
Wouldn't
crust.
you
I don't
peel
like
the crust off your own sandwich? Why would you subject the waitress or the barista to pulling the crust off the
I
sandwich?
thought they could just cut the crust off, though, right?
Just peel it off
I think
yourself.
that's yeah, but I mean, you can order it that way. That they'll just take a knife and
As
cut
the
it
baby, as the youngest of 4, and who got a lot of the stuff his way, I don't do crust on my sandwich. I would also ask to cut
What?
out that crust.
Why
I
not?
don't do crust on. I don't. Also, another hot take. Thank God Kelsey is not here. I do not do pizza crust. Doesn't do anything for me. I don't like crust.
So I disagree with you on that one, but a lot of people, I think the cutting off of the crust of sandwiches is sociopathic behavior to me. But the pizza crust thing, I think a lot of people fall in that boat.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that feels good. But yeah, her entire character though, Mia Toretto's character, I just love. I love the scene, the bozo where she basically asks him, "Hey, what's that restaurant you've always wanted to take me to?"
Oh, that was a cold move.
Unreal play by her. Like that is cold blooded to a T, and I'm all about it. I love that scene.
The Cuban place? Oh yeah, it's this. And then the guy turns into a total sap for like 10 seconds. Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah. Maybe Brian can take me there tomorrow night. What do you say, Brian? 8 o'clock?
I'd be on
Seems
cloud
a little
nine.
risky though. I mean, these guys, and obviously he paid for it later because the guy roughed him up. But I would be trying to diffuse that situation if I was Brian in that spot, and she poured some gas on it. So anyhow, back to Judd here.
My next statement is, I love the fact that this film eventually revolved around vigilante truckers who are arming themselves with shotguns by the end.
Yeah,
and like,
great.
there's this warning, these truckers are going to take things in. Now, if I'm the cops, I'm happy about that. I'd be like, okay, let them.
You know what this movie
Kill
is?
these guys.
This movie is a prequel to, I believe, Steven Spielberg's first ever movie directed, Duel.
Duel's a
in the
great
70s.
movie. It would
So
bore
we-
Dex
dude,
to death, but it's a great film.
Never
I
even
almost
heard
feel
of
like we should do Duel for this
Dennis Weaver.
show.
Dennis
Yeah.
Weaver is fantastic.
They did, actually, you know what? I think, okay.
The
Hold on
budget's
a
like
second.
$12.
I think they remade Duel with Paul Walker. Hold on a second. Because there's a movie called Joyride that also
Really?
came out in 2001. And oh my God, it stars Paul Walker. So they,
Joyride?
here it is. So it's summer break, and college freshman Lewis has decided to embark on a cross-country road trip to pick up the girl of his dreams. But the romantic hopes hit a detour when he stops on the way to rescue his older brother, who is playing a practical joke on a lonely trucker. The trucker, an unseen, terrifying force known only by his CB handle and voice, now wants the last laugh and revenge. And it's about a semi-truck driver anonymously chasing these people. So Duel was it's like 2 hours of a semi-truck driver trying to kill this guy for, I think he honked at him in a road rage incident or something.
just passes
It's yeah, okay.
He passed him.
Yeah. So it's kind
I'm
of the
telling
same.
you.
We should do Joyride, actually, because it stars Paul Walker. Maybe we
budget-
do both of them.
The budget of Duel is like $15. Like it costs nothing to shoot, and it's incredible. It's basically if Rod Serling had written a Twilight Zone movie, it's basically that. Like it's really creepy because of what they don't show. It's great. But like the fact that at the end the trucker's got a shotgun and he's literally blasting his own truck.
Yes.
He is shooting through his own truck to try and take. I love this whole thing of, well, now we got problems because the truckers are involved. I would have thought the cops would be like, oh, okay, cool, that sounds good to us. Take care of the problem.
So Duel, it's hilarious. So Duel was directed by Steven Spielberg. It was 1971. I think it was the first movie he ever directed. The budget was $450,000, which is insane. And it was released on ABC, I think. I don't think it was even in theaters. It was just released as a made-for-TV movie. So
It's
add it
super
to the
freaky.
list.
It's really good. Mm-hmm. Joyride, Paul Walker.
Okay. God, there's so many ways to go here. On the semi-trucks, all right, here's my statement. It seems like these semi-truck hijackers took the absolute most complicated path possible to hijacking the semis. Okay, so we're going to get like four cars together, and we're going to we got to find an open stretch of highway, so the timing has to be right. We're going to get like four cars together, and we're going to have some sort of bow and arrow contraption, and we're going to lean out we're all going like 75 miles an hour, by the way. We're going to shoot this arrow into the passenger side window, knock out the window, and then shoot another arrow into the seat. And then one of our guys is going to jump off the back of the moving car and then pull his way via this rope into the truck and then fight with the truck driver and try and take control of the truck. Aren't there easier ways to hijack a semi-truck than this? It just feels like there's got to be a smarter, more efficient way to do this.
And to build upon that point, also, the trucker is not going to stop his truck.
No, he's going to keep going because if he stops his truck, he feels like, oh, then they're going to pull me out of the truck and it becomes more dangerous if he stops the truck.
But the last guy with the shotgun has the upper hand. He doesn't need to keep driving. He could have killed them all.
But they also might have guns too, so now you might be facing off against four cars worth of guns.
I like his chances, but I find it great that the whole thing is going to keep going with everyone doing 80, and no one's going to really slow down.
Yes. And then at one point, we're gonna, one of our guys is gonna be tied up with like a wire hanging from the side of a truck, and so Paul Walker's gonna jump on that little ledge, and they're both gonna be sitting there. And the truck driver, at that point, if you're the truck driver, okay, there's two guys clearly hanging off of the side of your truck. Just slow down and shoot them, right? But I don't know. It just felt like, can we get a smart person in here to figure out a safer, more efficient way to hijack these semi-trucks? Maybe wait for them to pull over and take a leak at a truck stop? Wouldn't that be the easier thing to do? Oh, let's wait for him to have to get gas, and then we can just take the truck from him.
This film had lots of questionable decisions and holes. No question about it.
All right, my statements are all about contradicting myself. So my next one is the car lifestyle just isn't for me. So I told you on Gone in 60 Seconds when we reviewed that like a month ago that I said, I think I could do this, right? Like, I think I could be concocted to like, getting cars and helping them transport those cars. But after watching Fast and the Furious, it's still confirmed to me. Cars do absolutely nothing for me. Like the way people just love cars and love street racing and love tricking them up and doing all this crazy stuff to cars, it does absolutely zero for me. I even thought about recently selling back my car. My car dealership contacted me. They wanted to buy back my car. And then I was even looking at, potentially getting a new one. And then I realized, you know what? Like, do I really need a new nav system in my car? Do I really need like an extra window button that makes it go all the way down? Like, I was just thinking about it. I was like, no, the car goes, it's in good condition. It stops. It goes when I want it to go. It turns on. I don't care. So my statement is very simple. The car lifestyle, it just isn't for me. It does nothing for me.
Can I jump in here real quick? Because I have a perfect one to piggyback off Bex. All right. So I'm mostly with you. Like, I just give me a Corolla hatchback that gets some good gas mileage, and I don't need any bells and whistles. But this movie, here's my statement. This movie spawned a trend of putting spoilers and rims on 1999 Honda Civics that still exist today. If you still see some of these early 2000s Honda Civics with like little 18-inch rims and stuff. So you bought this economic, good gas mileage car, and you put a spoiler and some rims on it to make it look like you're a baller. Come on now. You got a couple packs of Nas in that trunk too, or is
That's
it
what
just
I want to know.
Is it just your golf clubs? You know,
how many young men blew up their cars with Nas?
So many.
That's what I want.
Can you just go and get Nas? Dumb question as a non-car guy. Are there just like shops? Can you just go get Nas, or is this like a black market thing?
I think it's
How does that work?
Black market. I thought it was a black market thing. I could be completely wrong though.
Let me just Google here.
But I gotta think a couple of guys in this fine country died because their car blew up.
I'm gonna Google buy Nas for my car. Okay, on Amazon they do.
They're gonna raid your house.
Wait a second. AutoZone sells Nas.
Oh, really?
So Amazon, you can get little packs of Nas on Amazon. Now, how do you hook them up? I have no idea how that works. But there you go. If you want some nitrous oxide for your car, apparently you can just go on the internet and buy some. You know, maybe someone can help us in the YouTube comment section. Some car guys out there, or gals. You ever put Nas in your Corolla hatchback and fly past some people on 394? Woo!
All right.
It's great.
My statement is this. This film, among all of the films that I think going back to when we started this process, this film has the best all-star product placement of any film I've seen, I think.
The Corona.
The Corona, the Pizza Hut driver who's trying to go home, and they're like, you got to find another way home. We're about to race here. With the clear Pizza Hut thing, Snapple. The product placement, which is ordinarily it feels like beers and stuff, right? But the overall product placement of different things in this film is at an all-star level. It is elite product placement.
Let me ask you this. So that scene where Dom brings Brian into the house party late at night because he kind of saved him from, maybe saved his life, or saved him from getting arrested at least. And they go in, and then I can't remember the guy's name, the guy that wanted Mia.
Vince.
That guy. Vince? Okay.
Vince.
And so Dom goes up to Vince and basically says, "Where were you, dude?" And like, "Well, I mean, the cops are everywhere." And he said, "And why'd you bring that guy in here? Because he was the only one that stuck around." And he grabs Vince's sort of half-drunk beer already, and who knows how long that's been out there. It's like, you're Brian, you're walking into a party with people that either hate you or you don't know, and Dom hands you some other guy's 3/4 full beer, and he just kind of wipes off the rim of the bottle and starts drinking it. Would you guys have drank that beer? Or would you feel like you're disrespecting Dom if you say, "Hey, actually, could I just get like a fresh cold one from the fridge?"
I think if I'm an undercover cop, I might drink the beer.
Yeah, I think you got it.
Like, I think I'd take it because I want in on their lifestyle. I'm becoming
But I'd just
one
be
of them.
thinking about the backwash and everything.
I agree.
It's in like these post-COVID times too. You just think more about the stuff that.
But you
I
want
don't know. It would be hard.
But the trust. You got to get the trust of Dom and the whole family.
But is it an unreasonable request to ask for a fresh beer in that spot?
If I'm not
Dom,
a
thank
cop,
you so much. But could I, or even like a cup? Can I pour it into a cup?
No, you dude, you're not going to do a cup at a party like
That's
that,
incredible.
man. You got to take bottle. You got to bottle. But yes, if they had been truly just friends, I'm not drinking that beer.
Okay, just want to throw that out there. Go back to Dex here.
And by the way, I forgot one note in my car lifestyle, and this is like a statement within my other statement. What the hell is granny shifting? You know, when he says granny shifting, not double clutching like you should. Again, my car, like what does any of those words mean?
My interpretation of the granny shifting is just that you're a little slow on shifting. That you're not getting up to top gear as quickly as maybe you should be.
Didn't you drive a manual too? Didn't you learn on a manual?
My dad, when I was 15 years old, or maybe even this might have been before my permit, but he took me to an empty parking lot one time in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, where his apartment was, and he just said, "Hey, I want to teach you how to drive my stick shift Corolla." And I think we did that twice. And I almost ran into a pole in the parking lot that was empty. And that was kind of the end of that experiment. Like, all right, we're good. We'll just get an automatic.
To teach me on a stick, it was hopeless. I had no chance.
No chance. My actual statement, though, is Dom is the perfect leader for stupid people. So Vince is just a complete buffoon. He's the muscle of the group, but also just like a complete idiot buffoon, right?
Well, but he's the one that sniffed out that Brian was a cop, so maybe his intuition
It's
is
true. He's a hothead idiot, though. Like, that is who he is. Jesse's like obviously very smart with cars, but he's also like kind of weird and quirky and just like not really a people person. You know, Letty's probably the most normal one of the group. But Dom is basically able to convince all of these idiots to like rob trucks to get DVD players. Like he is the perfect leader for dumb people. And I like Dom. Like I love his character, but his collection and his following are a kind of a bunch of idiots. And he's the perfect kind of leader to manipulate them to get him what he wants.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just like
absolutely.
he's just the most assertive, the most charismatic. He's good looking. He's the alpha. He's the most alpha of everyone in the group. Okay, my next statement here. Ja Rule was everywhere during this time period. So I just because I remember this movie came out when I was a sophomore or a junior in high school, and Ja Rule, between my freshman year of high school and my senior year of high school, was probably featured on every single top 40 song played on KDWB and all the other stations.
Really?
So I looked it up, and then he gets movie roles like this because he's a superstar in the rap industry. And it was very rarely his own songs. Like I feel like there's maybe 2 or 3 songs that were his own singles. It was always, we're gonna have Ashanti with Ja Rule sprinkled in over here, right? Or we're gonna have Jay-Z or DMX with like Ja Rule here for 10 seconds. So I looked it up. Between 1998 and 2002, Ja Rule was a featured artist on 12 different charting singles.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
From Jay-Z to DMX to Blackstreet, Janet Jackson, Jennifer Lopez a couple times, I'm Real, Ain't It Funny, Mary J. Blige, What's Love with Fat Joe, who I once saw at a restaurant, a barbecue restaurant in Fort Myers, Florida after a Twins game, Irv Gotti. So congrats to Ja Rule for just being amazingly huge between 1998 and 2002. Good for that guy.
It's a great statement.
Good for that
Love
guy.
it.
All right, back to Judd.
So this film is filled with unnecessary flaws, and here's one of them. And it's like, I get flaws that are convenient to the storyline because it helps things to make sense, despite the fact that the scene or the flaw itself might not make perfect sense. But here's an unnecessary flaw that this film has. For instance, when they go and raid the house of what's his name, the bad guy,
Johnny Tran,
fighting against. Yes, when they go and raid Johnny Tran, I think it's his parents' house. Okay, Paul Walker's character goes with a mask on, so they won't see him. But why does he need to be there? Like, he's identified the house, like he is the conduit to the undercover part, which is important, but like there would be no reason, and there's no, like, he doesn't need to be there. He doesn't do a thing. He's got a mask on. He's just sort of watching. If he's exposed, the cover is completely blown.
Yeah.
So why would you have him in the film itself be there? Like he could be out in a van or something. But I mean, he is the undercover. He is the basically most important part of the whole mission to get all of these guys. And if his cover's blown, it's over. But yet he's there with like a ski mask on so he can watch him arrest Johnny Tran. It makes zero sense.
It is kind of
unnecessarily.
weird. Yeah, no, it is kind of weird. Yeah, I think also, just to go back to like the is he a cop, is he not type stuff in this movie, Dom, for being as like closed circle guy as he is, right? These are my ride or dies. He just like runs into this guy. And by the way, the interactions that he had with Paul Walker at the initial street race were mostly like sparring with each other. Yeah. And it was kind of a bleep measuring contest. And just, one moment where they're both escaping cops and they just happen to escape the cops at the same time. Then now we're like blood brothers for life, right? Now,
no, you're right. Now
I trust you to come into my home with my friends and my people.
Break your heart.
The level of trust. Yeah.
Break your heart, I break your neck.
Dex.
All right. One more from me. Actually, it's a Dom quote, and actually, I really like this quote in my statement. His statement of living your life 1/4 mile at a time is great advice. So he says that to Brian when he's talking about like his dad and like why he got into street racing when they're in their garage and whatnot. And I thought that's really good advice. Living your life 1/4 mile at a time, and that's where he gets all of his adrenaline and all of his kick. I legitimately, I was like, that's actually really good advice. Like for Dom kind of being like the meathead, I kind of like the advice.
feels kind of reckless to me. I mean, is there a way to know, what it looks like or plan for what it may look like 50 miles ahead, but then live in the moment as much as possible, 1/4 mile at a time? Can we have some semblance of a plan for what the 20-mile marker looks like? Just an inkling?
Not since his dad died.
Yeah.
I heard the screams. I found out they're me.
They were me screaming.
Me screaming. I killed him.
I love how Don Toretto sounds like Mike Tice in your
Yeah.
mind.
He does in my mind. That's very.
That's my coleslaw. Get your hands off my coleslaw.
We ran 80 plays in 2 hours. Pretty good.
Okay, I have one more pop culture music observation. My final statement here is that Limp Bizkit, also featured in this movie, was also a national treasure during this time period, the early 2000s. One of the best, worst bands in the history of, well, at least in my life, since the mid-1980s. But man, me and my friends in high school, just a bunch of hicks from Buffalo, Minnesota, would pump some Limp Bizkit with our windows down, driving around the county roads. We would sometimes bring like boom boxes out to, if we're going to go play basketball, or I had some friends who played tennis and stuff. Like, think about this. Me and my friends in high school playing tennis, blasting Limp Bizkit off a boom box.
I don't have the fitted cap on, but I love the cap was always like by like
the Fred Durst
below it, or below his like eyebrows basically.
It's like under his nose. Yeah. Amazing. Judd, did you ever get into Limp Bizkit?
No. Zero chance.
Why
I
not?
was like 30. Thank God I didn't. No. I'm aware
It's
of.
all about the
I'm
nookie.
aware of. Yeah. No. I avoided it
So you can take that cookie,
very easily. Yeah.
And
stick it up your,
your-
stick it up your,
Thank you. Thank you very
All right.
much.
Any other statements from you guys here on?
Yeah, I got one more.
Fast Food,
It's a statement, and it's basically a question. Where were the cops? The end scenes where I believe Paul Walker's character is still a cop, okay, and he is pursuing Vin the entire time, and they literally get in a shootout with Johnny Tran's people, to which a guy has a machine gun. He can't hit Walker, but Walker turns the car sideways, takes one shot, and kills the guy on the cycle. Very impressive. But anyway, at some point in time, despite there being a shootout in the streets, and despite Paul Walker's character being a cop, we never see the cops. Like, literally, when he lets Vin Diesel's character, much like the end of Point Break, get away, there is no sign of a patrol car.
Yeah. So actually, I'm glad you brought this up, because one of the observations I still had in my notes was that at the beginning of the movie, and I was trying to put together what's the time frame here. So Paul Walker, so there's all these people, looks like hundreds of people in cars have gathered somewhere in the Los Angeles area.
Yep.
And so they to have that many people there when Paul Walker shows up, they had probably started congregating 30 or 60 minutes before that point. Like, they didn't all just show up at the same time, right? They all start congregating. So there's masses of people blocking these roads and stuff. Pizza guy can't get through. And then they rifle off a street race, maybe multiple street races. And then the cops, right? So, like, where were the cops? Are they not passing through? Is there nobody in the neighborhood from an apartment complex phoning in, hey, there's like hundreds of streetcars out here. They're all kind of revving their engines and stuff. Like, where was the LAPD at the beginning of the movie?
They tried to explain it by it came through on the scanner that there was a homicide. Like, one homicide
It's
in Los Angeles
Angeles.
is going to occupy all the cops. And here's my question at the end too. So the last truck hijacking attempt, they leave at like dusk, right? They leave that rally that they're at to go and pursue the truck. And I don't know how far they're going, but by the time that they were going after the truck and actually shot their thing through the window to break it, it's daylight. So I guess my question is this. You leave at dusk to go do the heist, which, by the way, I would think the heist is probably smarter done at night. But then by the time that you get there to do it, it's daylight. But Paul Walker's character hunts you down and catches up to you. But did he have to drive all night? Like, that's the sequencing of the light in the film didn't make any sense to me unless I'm missing something.
No, I think these are These are valid questions. Here's another question I had toward the end of the movie. So they pull up to the stoplight together, and then a quarter mile exactly ahead is the train track crossing. And when that light turns green, I'm going to try and, get to the train tracks as quickly as possible. How did he know that there was a train? So they're sitting at that stoplight for presumably at least a minute, right? How does he know that there's a train coming? I guess maybe he can hear it off in the distance, but does he know that it's going to be that close of a call once he gets to the train tracks? Or was he just trying to get to the next stoplight and then realized, oh, there's a train, I'm going to try and beat this train?
That's how I took it, but you've got a good point there.
No, every time that light turns green, a train's coming. Every single time.
At a high rate of speed, and you got to beat it. But watch out for that truck right after the train, because that'll get you every time.
Oh, man. All right. Any other statements before we get into the ranking portion of the proceedings here? You guys good?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Good. So we've got two ranking categories here, the definitive villain rating and then the entertainment value. And these are presented by our friends at Aquaside. So maybe Dom and Brian are looking to go up to the cabin with their friends and drink some Coronas. And oh, my gosh, look how dirty this lakeside area is. How can we fix it?
That's right. I'm going up to the cabin to do exactly that this weekend up in Shell Lake, Wisconsin. And my friends at Aquaside. Shell Lake is an Aquaside lake. So when I get in there, there's no lake weeds or algae. And there's nothing worse. Nothing kills that Corona or that surly vibe. Like stepping in that lake with that muck on your feet. Ugh, it's the worst. And Aquaside pellets can help you remove that. They're safe products. They're registered with the EPA and DNR. If you're in the Twin Cities, you can go check them out in White Bear Lake. Or you can order their products at aquaside.com. Aquaside pellets to help you remove that lake weed and algae.
All right, so we're looking for these three criteria here: iconic, ruthless, and charismatic for the villain. And we're going to rate on a 1 to 10 scale. So to this point in the reboot of Action Movie Rewind, Castor Troy from Face Off is our top-rated villain, a 9 out of 10. The aliens from Independence Day are a 7.8, and Surfer Bodie from Point Break is a 7.3. The F5 tornadoes from Twister are a 6.3. So I think Dom Toretto, right, as of right now, Dom Toretto is the lead villain here in this movie, much like Surfer Bodie was in Point Break. So how would you guys on a 1 to 10 scale rate Dom Toretto, iconic, ruthless, and charismatic being the criteria?
You know what's funny about this is although he is clearly supposed to be a likable bad guy, he rates pretty high because he's iconic now, right? Like when you've done a
Very
franchise
iconic.
that's gone this long, definitely charismatic. I don't know he's ruthless, but he's certainly not a nice guy. I'm going to give him what should I give him here? Because this is a little bit difficult. I don't want to go overboard. I'm going to give him a 7.5.
Wow.
I'm going to give him a 7.5.
It's awfully low.
Well, I mean, there's,
the lack
like
of
him to be a
ruthless
little
factor,
meaner.
I think drops him a little bit. He is iconic. He's extremely
Definitely
iconic.
iconic.
Vin Diesel, Dom Toretto, and they've made
And
like a
charismatic.
dozen of these movies. Very charismatic. I am at about an 8. I am about an 8. Is where I would rank him.
So he is iconic, 10 out of 10. I mean, he is he is one of the faces of one of the most prominent action movie franchises in the history of action movies. Mm-hmm. He's as his charisma is off the charts just in terms of his avatar and everything. How ruthless is he? Was he really willing to kill Brian if it came down to it? I don't know.
Didn't feel like it, and that's where I ding him.
You probably dock some points there, but I'm giving him a 9 for the other. He's just so off the charts for the other categories, which means it's an average score here. Let me see, a 9, 17, plus Judd, you said a 7.5.
Yep.
Divided by a 3 there, so an 8.2 is the score here for Dom, which puts him as the second most or highest rated villain here in our exercise so far, right behind Castor Troy. Okay, the overall entertainment value, 1 to 10 scale of this movie. Top Gun Maverick is a 9.3, Independence Day 8.7, Top Gun the original 8.3, Air Force One 8.2. At the bottom of the scale is Gone in 60 Seconds at 4.7.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I'm going to give this an 8.5, and here's why.
Wow, good for you.
I found it enjoyable, and I've tried it in this incarnation of the exercise. I've tried not to harp on this as much, but I love the runtime of this. Like, they didn't say, let's add another scene, right? Like, they kept it pretty tight, especially for a film that was as successful and blockbuster-ish as this was, but they kept it pretty tight. They did a good job. Editing is super impressive. Like it helped make this film. It's really, no, I'm dead serious. It's really well done. Like the quick cuts and stuff really helped this film. 8.5.
I need to see Judd as part of the Academy, like the Oscar Academy
The editing
Committee.
of this film is really good, you guys. Like it is really impressive.
The original
The continuity and cinematography.
There were a lot of scenes
Best
in
since
this
the
film
60s.
that if they weren't done right would have looked really stupid, I think. The quick cuts and the drag racing and stuff, I'm telling you right now, I am artiste of this sort in watching this. This is very good.
We should find some, like an actual, like a serious movie critic to pair up with Judd to do movie reviews, but do them instead of doing action movies. I want Judd's take on like the big time, like the Daniel Day-Lewis type. There will be blood, you know.
No subtitles for me. Okay?
very
That's the only
serious
thing.
movies.
I ain't doing subtitles. Don does subtitles. I don't do subtitles. I'm not going to.
We've actually started doing subtitles on just English-speaking movies
Dawn
because
does
it's just we just like
Yes,
to,
Dawn
does
in case we miss a word in there somewhere.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And when you wear headphones every day for
I'm
like
fine with
15
that.
years, it becomes
I'm not
hard to-
criticizing that. I'm saying if they don't, if it's like in French or something, I'm not going to watch it.
All right, Dex, what's yours? So we got an 8.5 from Judd there.
For me, it's an 8. This is a good movie. I do enjoy this film. I don't think I've watched it since we reviewed it like 2 years ago. And we did it the first time. But if it's on TV, I'm 100% stopping to watch it. I just basically said how much I am in love with Mia Toretto and Jordana Brewster. So that spikes it very heavily.
About that.
Well, it's because she looks exactly like her. And yeah, so it's an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10. I love this movie.
All right. I don't remember what I gave this movie the last time we did it the first time around, but I do know that the more I see this movie, the more I appreciate it and like it, and I get excited to watch future Fast and the Furious franchise movies. So it's a 9 for me. I was thoroughly just engrossed in this movie. It was a blast for all of its cheesiness and corniness. I for a while I never really understood like how is the Fast and the Furious becoming this mammoth franchise? I don't get it. I'm starting to get it now after watching this a few times.
Much like with Point Break, it definitely, I think, grows on you the more that you consume it. Because it's like at first it's like, this is not good, and then it's like, you know what, it's sort of fun, and then it's like Vin Diesel editing, I can do this.
So that means it's an 8.5 for the rec. I don't think I said that, which puts it as the third best or most entertaining action movie we have reviewed, right between Independence Day and Top Gun the original. So we gave this a higher grade than Top Gun the original, just so you guys know.
Good. It's a better
Did
movie.
we really?
I think it's mostly because of Declan. Declan gave it a
Yeah,
low
Declan.
score.
Yeah, well, Declan ding Top Gun. You know what? That's a bunch of crap, man.
The second one.
Have some respect from your elders, okay? Have some respect for what came before you.
Yeah.
So
okay,
anyway.
and speaking of that, so we went from the 2000s, and we're gonna go Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
We're gonna go Sergeant York. Actually, is the next one we're gonna
Kill
do.
a Mockingbird.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
The Wizard of Oz is coming
Kill
up
a
next.
Mockingbird is great. It's a little scout.
So I tried to go find some of the movies because the initial run of Action Movie Rewind, it was a radio segment we started like 2.5 years ago with Rami and Jonathan. And so I wanted to find what are some of the other ones that we did before Declan jumped in. And I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. We're going to throw it back to what I think is widely regarded as the most prominent Steven Seagal action movie. And it's Hard to Kill.
Oh, love Hard to Kill.
I did this with you guys, I believe.
You did this? Okay.
You did?
Yeah. Is this Richie?
No.
No.
Nope.
Well, anyone seen Richie? What's the golf film? Is that one?
This is Blood Bank. This is Blood Bank.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
I'll take you to the Blood Bank, Senator.
Okay. No, I got you.
Out for Justice is the one.
Out for Justice. That's the one I'm thinking. Thank
Jerry
you.
Orbach's in that one.
Understandable how all of these would kind of be similar.
Right.
You know what? No, it's not. No, it's not. This man's catalog is gold, and I can't believe you don't know the.
So Hard to
great.
Kill is going to be the movie for next week, and I'm
love it.
part of the reason why I pulled this up is because I am very curious to hear Declan's review on a couple scenes specifically in this movie.
This one's for my wife.
It is 136, so I do love the runtime there. That's good.
Oh yeah, well,
Oh, and it's a
In and out very
fun
quickly.
136 too, man. This gets right to the point.
buckle up. All right, there it is. Action Movie Rewind deep dives into some of the most prominent action movies in cinematic history. We'll do it again next week. Mackie and Judd.